Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of All the Mods 10. We're starting off the episode with bees. There's literally bees everywhere. I was AFK for a little while. Look how many bees there are now. We probably will need all of them, so let me go capture them and I'll give you some final counts. Whose idea was this to put down a whole bunch of beehives? There's bees everywhere. I am mostly joking though. This is actually probably the best way to get these bees, is it seems like you do just want to put them in beehives. Just put the beehives in the dark and you'll find some eventually. After running around and catching all of those bees, this is what we have as the result. It's all of this. 40 bees. Plus, I guess this is 41 bees. That's pretty good. I doubt I'll need more than that. So, let's go back home. There's bees just flying around. I wonder if I'll keep finding bees for a little while. I think today's goals, well, we had the bee goal from last time. I think we still need to finish one part of the bee goal. And then we'll want to go into this Insanonite blocks. So we'll go into the bigger reactors mod. I think the only other thing we needed was a wither comb, which we get from a withered bee, which is very easy to make. Okay, that's good. Maybe I'll squish some bees to get the best bee possible. I'm going to automate this just because it's probably a little bit easier for me, but I have a puller module, which is set to pull from this barrel here. And then I have an activator module, which is pointing down with right click. And all I have to do is make sure that I don't have a whitelist there. Oh, they just immediately get squished, I guess. Oh, that's pretty cool. I didn't know that was a thing. And then the only thing that's left is, I didn't talk about this last time, but I think you need to put a lever on your gene indexer. Yeah, there we go. And now it's sorting it, mixing them until they're 100%, which is really nice for us. These two gene samples, I have a skeletal productive bee sample. I have a high productivity sample. Note that this one right here is 100%, but this other one is 85%. So I think what this means is that I'll have a 100% chance to get a skeletal bee, but I will not have a high or guaranteed chance to get a high productivity bee, which is fine for us because we probably won't care about it. At least we probably won't care about it being productively high because there's upgrades for that. Temper and endurance apparently don't really matter if you have a simulated beehive, which is what we will have. We won't care so much about that. So whatever we get out of it is perfectly fine with me. So the way you do this is inside of a baby incubator, you put eggs, you take a honey treat, and you put your gene sample and it'll give you the genes. Skeletal, honey treat, and then here's the productive, the high productivity sample. So now that we have our honey treat, we'll put it inside of this machine, and this machine has some speed upgrades. This will finish up and we should have a bee. Oh, here we go. Here's our skeleton bee spawn egg. And unfortunately, you won't know what you got until you spawn it. So let's go ahead and go into our bee area over here. Place it down, and we got, unfortunately we got a normal productive, which is fine, but let me get the wither rose. We got a bunch of wither roses from when we fought the wither, but here's a withered bee, and then we're going to put this withered bee in one of the beehives. Something that I do know, we want to use a feeding slab. We want to use feeding slabs underneath each of these so that we can use simulation chambers. Simulator upgrade. I probably did explain this, but this is an advanced oak beehive with an oak expansion box. It keeps things easier. So once we put the simulator expansion upgrade here, it will allow us to put an empty bee cage in here. So now the bee is in there. And then we just need its block. What is its block again? Also be nice to get some speed upgrades. Simulator goes here, speed goes here. This is perfectly fine. It would be nice to have 4 more of these. Maybe I should not have squished as many bees as I did. Wait, I still have a lot of bees. This one's even a high productivity one. Alright, same deal as before. Put the bee down, convert it, grab it, put the bee down, convert it. I can't grab it because I forgot to grab more of these. I need more bee cages, especially the sturdy ones. These are nice. Here's what we got. We got 5 entangled blocks. I mean, I guess 6. I will put them right up here. I'll go ahead and entangle these blocks. The other thing I need to entangle is this guy here, the bottler. Don't need these cables here anymore. I'm going to put down a drawer. In the export bus, we want to export glass bottles. So we should now get honey out of this. We're getting this really fast. We pretty much already will have what we need for the withered soul, which will be the item that we need. Yeah, that's it. We already have all we need for this. Some of the other things I want to do here is sort some of this stuff out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to extract from each of these. And down here, in the sorting area with all the drawers, I'm going to add these items that we just got. So this, and this. I'm going to add upgrades to some of them, but not to all of them. I don't really want all that many of these. Yeah, I definitely don't want that many. I'm going to entangle the storage controller and then bring it up here. That way the first thing it'll hit is this. And then from there, we'll add some piping over this way. And then we'll do whatever we want to do to honey. Otherwise, I think it's centrifuge. Where is my centrifuge? Yeah, that's where my centrifuge is. We'll make another one. It's fine. Can I upgrade this? Not easily. Do I need an inert beehive or something? Oh, I definitely want it. Draconic chunk, draconic comb, draconic bee. Oh, that's so easy. Okay, I will grab one of those bees, or I guess 5 of them. Here's our powered centrifuge. We just grab some more cables. Like I said about this area, we don't care about what this area looks like. So I'm okay making this area have really bad cabling. I'm hoping that we don't need this barrel buffer, but in case we do, here's a barrel buffer, and then the output of this should go back into this. So let's maybe just move it here. All right, final production here is we have advanced oak beehives with expansion boxes, with simulator upgrades, with speed upgrades, with 5 withered bees, with glass bottles inside of them. In front of the beehive is the feeding slab. It has to be a block under. So anyone who is following this, make sure that your feeding slab is underneath the beehive like this. With this setup, your bees will start creating combs. In my case, I have the beehive entangled. This is how it's getting the bottles, so pulling the bottles into the beehive. The combs and any other output like honey are pulled out from the beehive to an entangle block, which is the storage controller that I have down here, which has all these drawers. So we'll get honey here, and then any excess combs or any combs that don't fit in here will go into this netherite barrel, which will feed it into the powered centrifuge. Oh, looks like I already caught something. Any other outputs like honey or honeycomb will go into this barrel. The barrel will put them into the centrifuge. The centrifuge will do whatever it needs to do with the output of this, and it will output it right back into the storage controller from down below. So this automation is done now. This is just something I couldn't do last time because I didn't really need to at that very moment. Now I did. So that being said, this is probably faster at producing things like netherite. So like maybe I could make a netherite bee, but making a netherite bee is really involved. So I don't know that I want to do that. Oh, this is a really good way of getting vibranium too. What I do know that I want to do is I want to go get a draconic bee, because I think some of this draconic dust is useful. Some of this stuff is useful for productivity upgrades, which will be great because this will be probably better than a speed upgrade. Plus this is an item that's necessary for some of the other things. I'm probably not going to make a time in a bottle, I'm not going to lie, but maybe this query would be really nice to have. I don't know. What I do know is that this is good. I'm going to go grab a bee real quick. I'm really going to go grab a draconic bee. It's always scary. I don't know what this is. Shadowlands. It's like a warp here, I guess. What happens if I go through it? Oh, it like warped me from over here down here somewhere to where I am now. Very odd. Alright, as usual, put a bee nest down, the obsidian bee nest. Right click it with a bunch of this dragon's breath. Be ready to catch the bee when it comes out. There's our draconic bee. I'm gonna do this 5 times. We have another beehive. I've already added simulation upgrades and speed upgrades. Here are all our bees. Bottles are already in there, and then we just need a dragon egg down here. Whoops. And this should start producing combs, which we should see go in here. A few moments later, here's draconic comb. That's what we needed. That being said, we now have draconic dust, which can be converted into draconic chunks. I have a simple compacting drawer with draconic dust in it, so then we don't need to worry about this. This is now auto-producted, which means that soon we'll be able to have the other production stuff. So that, in my opinion, is some pretty good progress on the bees. And that being said, it has been about 10 minutes, so we'll call it quits here. So thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.